mistake number one is applying too late. Now, you must understand that the first visa that you got to enter the UK was for 2 years and 9 months. Now, if you let the visa expire, you will be deemed as an overstay and you will be asked to leave the UK. So you can apply up to 28 days before the visa expires. Now, point number two, the mistake is that people misunderstand the knowledge of English language requirement, because when you first time apply for the spouse visa from outside of the UK under the family visas, the knowledge of English requirement level required is level A1. But when you're applying for an extension, this requirement changes from level A1 to A2. So do not be amongst those people who assume that we can just submit the same test and that would be acceptable. Your visa may be refused. Now, mistake number three is misunderstanding the financial requirements, and that is where most applicants get confused about. Now, let me help you understand what the financial requirements are. So there is a lot of transitions and the law changes happening in the last 2 years. For example, in this particular category, if you were granted the first visa, which was to enter the UK before 11th of April 2024, then the financial requirement is that you need to be earning at least £18,600 that you sponsor, your husband or the wife, on the basis on which you came to the UK. He or she must be earning £18,600 per year. Plus, if you have dependents, like if you have one child, then you need to have another additional £3,800. And for every additional child, you need to have £2,400 as an income. But if you were granted permission to enter the UK on or after 11th of April 2024, then this requirement has been changed to £29,000 per year. There is no separate requirement for one dependent, you have to have extra money. The total is £29,000. So please make sure that you should see when you were granted the visa to enter the UK. The important thing to bear in mind is how do you satisfy this requirement? So for people, 80% of you who are in a salaried job, their partners are working and they are with the employer for more than 6 months, it's an easy one. You take the annual salary on the employment contract and you look at, does that in total at least meet £29,000 or exceeds £29,000? If you were granted before, does it meet at least £18,600 if you have no dependents, right? You do that. But in terms of evidence, what they're looking for, that imagine you're like 80%, everything is simple. What they're looking for is your last 6 months of bank statement. That means in which there is a salary credit of the salary that you mentioned is being credited each and every month. Exactly. Please make sure you check that. You need to provide your 6 payslips that shows the name of the employer, the national insurance, the income tax that you paid, pension, whatever it is, that should match the month of the bank statements also. And then you need to provide a signed letter from your employer confirming that you're employed there, what designation, what is your salary, and where is the place of work, and it should be signed by the HR letter. It is a must. Fourth mistake is that people do not understand the importance of proving relationship of living together. This is a really big requirement. So the UK Home Office expects is that you need to demonstrate through evidence that you've been living together for the last 2 years, right? And they do not want just one form of evidence. They're looking for 3 to 4 types of different evidences that covers the 2-year period before the date of application. Now, what could be that? Example number 1, if you open a joint bank account together as a husband and wife or as a partner, and both of your names are written and you have the same address, that is one proof. Second thing could be that you have a tenancy agreement in which both of you are responsible for the property in which you've been living together. Number 3 could be that you have utility bills in which both of you have been mentioned. It is possible that husband is paying for electricity bill and you paying for a gas bill. It is quite possible. But as long as the address is the same and you sharing financial responsibilities, that shows that I pay for this, he pays for that, that is also a good proof. But the important thing for you to do is when you look at the last 2-year period, draw a line. If we are in 2026, I want to cover 2025 and 2024. In that period, what are the evidences that are covering both the things? One point I forgot to tell you about the financial requirement is that if your partner is in receipt of any benefits like disability allowance, attendance allowance, or the list that I'm providing in the description down below, then you don't need to meet that requirement of £29,000 or 18,600, but then you need to provide the evidence that you're in receipt of those benefits. Now, The challenge comes when I see couples from, say, Southeast Asian cultures where husband is the main breadwinner, for example, and the wife is taking care of the home and the children, but she's not mentioned on the official documents. Therefore, my recommendation is, as soon as you come into the country, get your name on the tenancy agreement, council tax statement, on the bills. People make mistakes and they take this question really lightly, and Home Office is very particular about that, is not understanding the human rights question that are in the extension form. They will clearly ask, if this visa was not to be approved and you would be sent back, which country would you like to go back to? And if you were to send back, is that going to impact your private life? Do not take this lightly, because here you need to explain that you are wanting to live together indefinitely in the UK. You have every intention to live together, and if they were to make you return back to your home country, say Pakistan, Vietnam, India, whatever it is going to destroy your private family life. Do not be over emotional about it, but do not take these questions lightly, and try to put them into context so that they can understand that if there are some deficiencies in your application where you do not meet, if they were to refuse, they can look at these answers and say, okay, you know what, it is not proportionate for us to refuse. Most of the spouse visa extension forms are relatively straightforward, right? But where people really, in my opinion, lack is what can happen in exceptional cases. For example, you came very happy, you moved to the UK, wanted to settle, but after 2.5 years, your relationship is starting to show some signs of that you may not want to stay together, or you are a victim of domestic violence. Now, if your relationship permanently breaks down, you need to notify the Home Office. And then once you notify the Home Office, and if you're a victim of domestic violence, then you have grounds to settle in the UK independent of your partner. I made a recent video, which you can check in the description also, if you want to settle, get indefinite leave to remain if you are a victim of domestic violence. Check the latest rules, and if you like the video, you please make sure you subscribe, because I will bring more and more new legal insights so that you can make the decision yourself. And if you feel that you need my assistance to review a case and look at your documentation, then feel free to book a consultation with me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Till next time, take care.